Wakey, wakey!
Ow! I'm awake!
Wake up!
I am!
I know, I just like to annoy you. We have a review to do together, Brian!
Brian?
Yes, Brian! Brian Flim!
Fast lane to a hurricane. Open road ready to roll. Put pedal down right away. Red line and I'm giving more. City lights burn right behind me. Top down I push it to the floor. Street sign center line speeding. Burning hot I feel ready to roll.
Greetings, gentle viewers.
And welcome to Bad Movie Beat Off, where he masturbates to bad movies.
Down! Bad movie beat down! I beat bad movies down!
Is that a euphemism?
No.
Again, my imagination is better than reality. Regardless, we are reviewing Merlin the Return, the world's finest example of postmodern Dadaist children's Arthurian filmmaking.
Postmodern Dadaist? Is that code for shitty?
Yes.
Oh, joy. That's code for let's just get this fucking over with. We open with a long but really half-hearted piece of text that appears to have been inserted into the film after the fact because it tells us stuff we will literally see moments later.
It also doesn't know what fatal means because I'm fairly sure that's telling us that Guinevere, Lancelot or Arthur is dead. And they're not. So 10 years later, the text fucks off and the film begins.
I suspect this was only named Merlin the Return to dupe people into thinking it was a sequel to the Sam Neill Merlin made a couple of years earlier. Even the font looks similar.
Craig Schaefer is David Boreanaz, is Mordred. His mother, Morgan Le Fay, blasts him with Photoshop filters so via a medium he can contact Tia Carrere as an evil corporate sorceress.
I already feel like we skipped the first reel of the film because they do nothing to set that we're in the netherworld or who anyone is before Mordred's being channeled to Tia Carrere through the world's most gullible psychic.
And if psychics existed, that would be an oxymoron. But since they don't, she's just a moron.
Did I get through to the spirits this time?
I'm afraid not. Mother's being a little stubborn.
Mordred's feeding Tia with magical info that she can turn into science! Of course, I really want to know how they set this whole thing up. Like, does the psychic just bother random glamorous scientists with tales of her abilities to contact fictional characters?
Like I told you, there's a reel missing, maybe a whole film, likely a better film.
Wine. Bring wine, quickly. You, Guinevere. Move your ass and pass that wine.
Oh, and where the hell did they get wine in the evil netherworld?
In the evil nether vineyard? Ooh, scary! Duh!
So who could this mysterious hooded man who looks like Merlin be? Could it be Merlin? Nah, that'd be too obvious.
Merlin?
Well, motherfucker.
Merlin?
What a brilliant way to introduce the greatest wizard in fiction, making him trip over his own robe and at best look like a total dipstick.
I'm too old for this.
Too old? You're one of the youngest Merlins in film history.
Yeah, but according to Arthurian legend, Merlin aged backwards and that's why he could tell the future. So he's actually one of the oldest.
I somehow doubt that's what they were going for.
Fair point.
I mean, that line's insanity is even compounded by the fact that even Arthur's older than Merlin in this. It makes no sense.
And if the randy bastard doesn't extinguish his purple-headed rod, he's gonna be caught.
Oh no!
Oh hey, could that be Lancelot? Oh no, it's just Duncan MacLeod. Disappointed.
Merlin's here.
Merlin,
Yes.
free us after all this time? What's changed?
Maxwell.
Yeah, Maxwell. She's exactly like the person Tia Carrere played in True Lies, but 95% not giving a shit.
As opposed to the 100% not giving a shit that Adrian Paul's working with.
It's nice of the film to colour code the magic for us. Green is evil and bluish white is good. Makes it simple.
But why is Mordred doing magic? The motherfucker was Morgan's muscle and that's about it. They just made Morgan fucking pointless. Well, more pointless than anyone else so far. Quickly, to the flume!
Play me, come on and play with me. And bring your dolly free. Climb up my apple tree. Look down my rainbow. Slide down my silver door. And bring your dolly free.
Merlin.
Guinevere.
Alton Towers, the motion picture!
Walt Disney presents an Arthurian theme park in Scotland! MacArthur Park!
That was just terrible.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Shut the fuck up, Stalky the Knot Minion. He's allowed to have opinions, you're not. We'll kill you for your opinions later.
Come on, we've all got jobs to do.
It's weird, everything's been carefully calculated to make Tia Carrere look evil up to and including being sprayed with mud.
Well, they couldn't flood all of her shots with green light, so how else would we know? In the other car is our star, Chad Brad Jason Brett Von American, whose lines will be dubbed by Stalky the Knot Minion here.
They will? Oh, I mean, totally radical!
Merlin's spell that traps Mordred's club kids, Lancelot and Guinevere in the Netherworld is breaking down because of Tia Carrere and her evil science. Fearful that the spell holding Arthur asleep might also be breaking, he decides to go check.
Arthur waking up just in time to fight Mordred would be a bad thing? Apparently.
Give him my...
That's it. Hold the line for the effect to finish.
That pause is so pregnant it's gonna have twins.
Triplets.
Love.
A half-naked Merlin appears in the middle of the village and is almost run over. Since no one bats an eyelid, I can only guess that's pretty much business as usual.
Aw, that's totally bogus!
And because it was too expensive to create another crappy-looking cave set, we don't get to see Arthur and his knights waking up on Avalon, but instead cuts them ready to try and kill a truck.
Avalon is an island. This place ain't anywhere near the coast. I would have liked to have seen how they got here without drowning and or seeing a fucking truck.
Young beast is large. Aye, sire, and strong.
The libraries are out in force today. At least it's not the Millwall fans again. I like how it could speed up past 5 miles per hour, but chooses not to.
Okay. Maybe they didn't see any trucks on the probably really long walk from the coast, but that does not explain why they didn't see any cars!
You don't think it could be the big beast's cub? Aye.
Uh-oh, they're about to kill half the cast of Last of the Summer Wine.
This one is dead.
Patrick Bergin is woefully miscast as King Arthur, and I'm pretty certain he only got the role because he'd been in a few of director Paul Matthews' older films like Africa.
And Berserker, Hell's Warrior! That whole thing was funny but criminally stupid. They know about metal, they've never seen an animal with wheels, and they can see people inside. They are familiar with cards, it is not that hard to put the concepts together. Oh hey, a Rick Mayall upskirt shot. Did we mention that Rick Mayall's playing Merlin?
No, because I was wondering how long it'd take for the audience to recognise him from The Young Ones or Drop Dead Fred.
Oh, I just forgot to mention it. Anyway, time for Merlin to run into Arthur. Literally.
I think they're subtly coding this shot to remind us he's American.
Everything okay, honey?
This country doesn't even have a hot topic. Ugh, I can't wait until I'm in therapy.
I know it's hard, Richie, but give things a go. You'll like it here, I promise.
Cheeseburgers!
Everything's wrong.
Mordred's almost free, and the whole village thinks I'm some crazy old man.
Yeah, and I'm really not that old. So Merlin begins the epic tale of how all this came to be. How at the final battle with Mordred at a Stonehenge Sonath's Spinal Tap would laugh at it, he cast a desperate final spell to imprison Mordred's army and put the dying Arthur into a magical sleep.
Because sleep cures death. Apparently.
This really should have been the opening scene, but apparently that would have made just too much sense because the writers decided that Arthur should hear about this backstory from Merlin even though he was there.
You forgot to mention that Mordred was winning because he and his Wolverine Kurgan helmet grabbed Excalibur from Camelot. Because Arthur decided that a battlefield was no place for his magical fucking sword.
I have this.
Excalibur.
Am I the only one who's uncomfortable with how much Arthur looks like Mario?
With the Mario Brothers and plumbing's a game. We're not like the others who get all the fame.
No!
I guess so. Alright then.
Anyway, long story short, Mordred and his cult, along with Guinevere and Lancelot, ended up in the Netherworld, while Arthur and his knights ended up sleeping in Avalon.
And Guinevere is totally not getting her boyfriend's Lance a lot in the Netherworld for 800 fucking years.
That's a long time for fucking.
You know what this scene needs?
Costumes that don't look like they were bought in a joke shop?
No. Well, yes. But what else? Theatrical staging!
I wish I knew.
Yeah, that is good unnatural staging. Anyway, they have to stop Tia Carrera for reasons.
Deep in her state-of-the-art Apple shop / Stargate, no one is asking Tia Carrera why she has a heavily guarded and stupid-looking helmet with her, and how it could possibly help them with science.
Your mum seems happy to be back home, don't you think?
Aw, gee whiz, lady. This store doesn't even sell Smucker's grape jelly.
The part of the village shop was played by an attic in someone's house. It never acted again. So the psychic's daughter comes into the shop, and since both she and Chad Brad both like video games, they're suddenly in fucking love or something.
You do realise he's called Richie, right?
This kid is like Ninja Turtles 2 ate the Sandlot and then threw it up again and in a bizarre tribute to Slaughtered Vomit Dolls ate it again! I do not fucking care!
He's called Richie and he's the most irritating person in a movie with Rick Mail. I'm just saying the bottom jokes write themselves.
Although that kid is far, far, far worse than Richie from Bottom.
Agreed. That little girl has been in 2 scenes and worn 2 different flower hats. I kind of want to see where this is going. So they go to her place and find Tia Carrera having a business meeting with a medieval reenactor. And some glowing light. This is clearly so important that they decide to sneak into her car and attack the other plot of the film.
We have to stop them.
Now, I don't want to be mean to the child actors.
Oh, please do. You'll feel better.
But these two are awful. Kate seems to be reading her lines off cue cards while Richie...
His name is fucking Chad Brad!
While Chad Brad's being dubbed to make him sound more New York, even though he's from Iowa. And both performances are terrible.
I bet he's even terrible at lying down in the boot of a fucking car. So Mordred's decided to bring his army through early because Merlin and his ability to explain the plot has him spooked.
While Patrick Bergin has something better to appear in and so takes an extended cliff diving holiday.
We've been dropped through the centre of the world and come out on the other side.
Actually, he's gone to the Netherworld to find Excalibur, because he's finally realised it might be useful in a fight.
Morning, Miss Maxwell.
Where are we?
South Africa. That car is meant to still be moving, by the way. Neither Tia Carrere nor the guys at the door have noticed her fucking boot wide open while she's driving.
Suddenly, and without any explanation, we see that Merlin has somehow infiltrated Tia's lab. Well dressed like that.
Good work! That lab coat really goes with the robes.
Those are his subtle robes!
And it's not even like he's thrown that on and hoped for the best. He magics into his usual stuff later on, so this was a deliberate choice.
You've got to respect a man whose hatred for trousers overpowers his need for a competent disguise.
What's he doing here?
I like pogs. They're radical.
Okay, how the hell did you two get in there? You know what, I don't really care. I just want to express incredulity. Tia Carrera brings her science magical portal online in preparation for Mordred's army and
I just realised it's an Ivanhoe's goatsy.
Charming. Merlin appears and destroys her equipment to interrupt the portal, but shock horror, Mordred has made it through and Merlin's magic isn't enough to push him back.
Fool! My strength has grown tenfold since my imprisonment.
Merlin's magic couldn't do anything, but a fire hose pushed him back. I don't know who that was more embarrassing for, Merlin or Mordred.
That would be us. They didn't have to watch this shit, just be in it. Anyway, he said his power has increased tenfold right before his defeat via hose. So exactly how shit was he beforehand? So Guinevere somehow made it through the portal and we discover that the water weakness is spreading like a virus.
Never underestimate the power of a high-capacity hose to hold back villainy.
Remind me to test that. Oh, the kids and Merlin are allies now.
Yeah, that happened between shots. Sorry if you missed it.
Guinevere's gone.
Well, this action scene is shit.
At least Adrian Paul is doing something.
He's just one guy. Why doesn't Mordred tell his men to kill him?
Answers such as that were not meant for ones like us.
Hey, where's Arthur? Well, I told him to go jump in a lake. That sounds about right. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to finish my Sarah from Dragon Age cosplay.
When exactly is this set? It's dark, but clearly summer, but during summer in England, it doesn't get that dark until about midnight. So these kids really should be sitting out the rest of the film due to grounding.
Richie, are you all right?
I'm bodacious, Mom. I broke the law. Guess who's getting deported?
Mom?
Hey, Kate lost her flower hat. Either she left it in Tia Carrera's car or at the lab. Either way, she's lucky the police don't exist in this film.
Hey, it looks like Mordred's making a low-budget and maybe porny fan film set into winter. This thing's got all Dragon Age all the time.
I wonder where this harem was hiding earlier in the film. What follows is an extended and weirdly out-of-place sequence where Mordred murders this harem one by turning them into skeleton ghosts. It's a fairly creepy sequence, and I can imagine kids being scared by it.
Also, I wonder where most of the budget went.
The ghosts possess people with the aim of stopping Merlin. Now, on the surface, that's fair enough, but the only people they possess who are anywhere close to Merlin are these two knights. And they are literally miles away from him. The rest of the skeleton ghosts possess random people in the village. That's some really shit possession aiming.
And you should know.
Yeah. You know, I wonder if the skeleton ghosts possessing the knights get gender and, living dysphoria. Hey, do you think the locals ever noticed the random camp that sprung up nearby?
I suspect they probably assumed they were just a family of Norwegian Romanese.
Oh, and still no flower hat.
Yeah, it's like she's naked. Movie not cool. Movie, you space your two flower hats out. You don't blow your flower hat wad in the first two scenes and then go without for the rest of the movie. What the fuck is wrong with you?
And on the subject of clothing, Richie's been wearing that for about 3 days now. He even appears asleep in that leather jacket because without it we wouldn't know he's rebellious.
So unbodacious. Kate's being kidnapped by those dweebs.
Richie gets captured as well, and he and Kate are brought back to the lab to face the wrath of Mordred.
Never! My young friend, you have absolutely no idea how long never can be.
Craig Sheffer's performance is laughable. It's all grunts and growls, like a particularly bad panto villain. It makes him into even less of a threat than he already is, considering he spends pretty much the whole film trapped in an alternate dimension.
It's as though he based his whole performance on Frank Langella at the end of Masters of the Universe.
Skeletor, am master of the universe. I will take every spellmaker and witch here now. You will no longer stand between me and my destiny!
But I will.
Fool! My strength has grown tenfold since my imprisonment. Kneel before your master! Never. Never! You have absolutely no idea how long never can be.
It makes me wonder what it'd be like to watch his performance in the original Tamil.
Original?
It's a Star Trek 6 joke. Play it!
சரி பரவாயில்ல நான் இப்படி சொல்றேன் நீங்க பெரியவங்களுக்கு எப்போ மரியாதை கொடுத்தே ஆகணும்.
I'm impressed. The Indian dub managed to bring out literally foreign subtlety and nuance in Mordred.
I know!
Around the time Mordred begins with the blackmail, I'm almost worried he's trying to seduce me, the boy, Tia Carrera, and everyone in a 50-mile radius.
If he comes anywhere near me, I'm gonna rip his fucking nipples off!
It's very simple, really. I just want you to kill Merlin.
Hey, why send him? You've got magic and science and more money than him!
Hey!
Sorry, no offense, but you have no more money. I'm sorry, you know. Surely you could do better!
Tia Carrera arms Richie with a communal gun and taser that's been rigged up to fire blasts of pure post-production special effects. Quite why no one used this when Merlin was in the lab earlier, I doubt I'll ever understand.
Random question, but who is really the star here? I mean, Chad Brad's meant to be so the film could get some attention from America, but like the plastic swords everyone's waving around, he is fucking pointless. Kate was the one who knew Merlin, and she enlisted Chad Brad into her vendetta against Tia Carrera, but she's pretty much ignored.
There is the very real possibility that the original script focused on her, but they did a ham-fisted rewrite when some American co-funding happened, leaving us with this.
This, the Elephant Man of Arthurian kids' films. As in, it's harmless, but the script is weirdly shaped with growths in all the wrong places. Anyway, from the title you'd think that Merlin was the star, but nah. He's an avuncular advisor as per usual.
It's a little bit like calling Star Wars Episode 4 Obi-Wan the Return, when there is no episodes 1 to 3.
Of course, he could always turn it on Mordred instead.
Good work, movie. Now none of the kids in the audience will be traumatised when that actually happens and this finally ends.
Oh, this will never end.
It sure feels like it.
You'll think it ends, then suddenly, oh no, 17 years later, it's still going! Okay, I've just spent the last 12 hours going on the water slide, the nether coaster, the big wheel of dankness, ate a whole tub of evil candy floss, visited Pirates of the Dark Zone, and had my photo taken with Mortimer Mouse. I'm ready to do my mission. It's hard work being king, but someone has to do it.
He's been found by Lancelot, still being played by Adrian Porter's T-Break during a Highlander-related convention appearance. Their meeting doesn't go well, the dialogue is terrible.
I'm going to kill you, piece by piece.
Now I will kill you until you die from it.
What follows is a dramatic reading of the plans for this scene. Swing swords, clang, swing swords, clang, swing swords, clang, talky bit, clang, swing swords, move to next mark, clang, swing, clang, talky bit, clang. Why is 90% of Mordred's army made of strippers?
Weirdly, partway through this truly epic fight, Arthur and Lancelot decide that the fight was a fake. Designed to prolong the movie by 5 minutes and confuse Mordred's men when they eventually find them.
We're trapped. We can jump it. We'd never make it.
Do you want to live forever?
Really?
Go fuck yourself, movie. You know, the guys following them should have found them and stabbed them in the back by now.
At least twice.
And force the brat to kill Merlin.
Precisely.
Charming, implied incest in a kids' movie.
Happens more often than you'd think. Trust me. Plus, that's part of the course for Arthurian legend. Again, just trust me.
back with the knights, and I've realised we had better costumes in Nerd Quest, and those were intentionally shit.
Arthur left me in charge, not you.
I am queen.
Yeah, well, if I got your armor, I could be too.
You two stop wasting time. We have to find Mordred.
What are we going to do?
It's, simple. We kill the Merlin.
Mordred's attacked the village. He's taken everyone prisoner.
I know. I was just explaining that to Gawain.
I saw it all happen, dispelled one of the skeleton ghosts, and then went to bed. That was quite enough work for me. Hopefully this won't lead to any unnecessary deaths.
Stop this!
Merlin, you should be so fired.
This is like an extended episode of Hercules: The Legendary Journeys.
No, worse. It's like an extended episode of Mortal Kombat Conquest. Merlin the Return, I have a question. Why can ghosts die? And since we don't see the villagers being exorcised, I guess they're just going to continue on their merry possessed way.
Oh, fuck, this is almost Vikingdom level of Stonehenge accuracy. Stonehenge is located on Salisbury Plain. The point of a plain is that it is plain. Featureless without fucking trees.
And people are only allowed into Stonehenge during the solstice or if they have special permission from the government. Permission that takes ages to get, by the way, and demands more than I want to use Stonehenge magic to destroy the world.
And, why is she doing this?
I'm a scientist.
I had to. For science.
Mordred will give me free rein with my research and all the help I'll need for my experiments.
Science! You know what would help with that? A grant.
A grant?
Yeah, getting one of those is much easier than resurrecting a dead sorcerer.
Sorcerer?
Soon I'll be free of all the small-minded fools who think science should be controlled by rules.
Science is a set of rules!
This scene is set up like Tia Carrera is going to make a last-minute heel face turn against Mordred because clearly the first thing he'll do after he's won is kill her, but no, never happens.
So Merlin knows that Chadbrad has a weapon and has been ordered to kill him. How?
A wizard did it.
I see, alright, yes.
That's literally how he knows. Still, it leads to a nice little scene about a pipe that's only mostly ruined by Chadbrad's punchable fucking face.
I keep a pipe, but I never smoke it. It's my little test to myself. Tomorrow is a new day. A new test.
Like you, Richie, I will have a choice to make.
They wait off screen for hours and hours, doing nothing, because in the next scene it's suddenly night time and they're watching over Stonehenge.
Ah, the Tesla coils of Stonehenge, one of the wonders of England.
It is a brave film to take a night shot filmed on location and green screen a completely different night sky onto it. Truly, this is a fantasy setting.
I just noticed that Guinevere's armour is multiple stabbings waiting to happen. Meanwhile, in the Netherworld, Mordred is turning into a gorilla. I miss Nightbreed. And Tia Carrera doesn't understand the meaning of the word lookout because, hello, Merlin!
Is that Irish?
No. Irish sounds like English spoken backwards. That is bullshittian. He's making it up as he goes along.
Did they ever establish why they need Stonehenge for the portal this time? Because the lab was fine yesterday. Oh, the gloriness is off the scale. The movie must be finaleing. I wonder why the teeming mass of Mordred's army hasn't come through the gate. Maybe they don't want to interrupt the finale. Oh, Arthur and Lancelot. I forgot you existed.
King Arthur is, sir, barely appearing in this film.
You want to live forever?
No. Bad Merlin Return! Bad! One Highlander joke is all you get!
There can be only one.
Bad Filmbrain! Bad!
That clang sound effect is fast turning into the beefy punching sound in most martial arts films made in the 70s.
Tolstoy's fire breath, yeah!
Tolstoy's?
Well, it's like Chekhov's, but they didn't establish it first.
Oh, I see.
So Tia Carrera literally gets defeated by having a little girl leap on her and pull her hair. How the mighty have fallen.
And he's not talking about her aging tits.
Remember that thing the movie said could be used against Mordred? It totally gets used against Mordred. Anyway, Arthur pulls the sword from the stone, which teleports him and Lancelot back to Earth because... convenient.
Give me the sword, or the woman dies.
He drags out his syllables more than I do.
Arthur looks like Man-at-Arms or Master of the Universe borrowing Tila's costume!
So why exactly would Arthur care if that woman dies? He's never met her. She's just another commoner from pretty much a foreign land. Except, you know, he's heroic.
Take it!
Quick! Use all the filters!
So, having won, Arthur decides to send himself and his knights into the Netherworld because...
We are men out of our time, Richie.
Even though sleeping would be better than an eternity in a lightless theme park.
And that Merlin proved that you could adjust to modern life. A bit. And there are things they could do in the modern day, like work in medieval-themed attractions, become cult leaders, or just outright stab people. The options are endless.
Just ask Lancelot. He's staying in modern-day Earth to be Adrian Paul's stunt double.
Gnarly, dude! I get to give a blowjob.
Arise, Sir Richard, the youngest and last knight of the Round Table.
What the fuck is this? Chad Brad gets knighted and Kate doesn't? This movie has severe issues with women. Mordred steals Morgaine's magic shit. Tia Carrera was pretty much ineffectual. Chad Brad got brought into the story by Kate, who then gets shafted by the plot, and now Arthur!
Please don't say that Patrick Bergin shafted her.
Shut the fuck up, you cunt! I'm explaining sexism.
And then we find out that Kate's only reward is that she gets to marry Chad Brad.
Kate, this is my wedding ring. You be careful who you give it to.
I hope she fucking sells it and buys a solid gold flower hat and then brains everyone with it, the sexist fucks!
And worst of all, we end this kids' film on a rape joke. A rape joke done by a hero about a villain.
We're going to have lots of fun.
For the dragon!
Take a fucking shot!
Wait, why?
It's a running gag, a sort of a joke that originated in my turkey shoot review. I haven't done it in a while, but you know, it happens every so often just to underline the prevalence of rape in films, and it's a bit complicated and controversial, and never mind, I'll explain later.
This is fucking awful. You want more? It looks like children's TV, is written like bad children's TV, and is acted like... Okay, I need to go into detail about the acting. It's like a zoo of bad acting. It's got every possible kind of bad performance, from Craig Sheffer's Alan Rickman by way of a Neanderthal, to Tia Carrera's equal parts over-the-top evil and clearly not giving a shit, to Patrick Bergin nearly literally sleepwalking to Adrian Paul, who is so bored that he's in danger of being turned into a wooden floor. It's a bad sign when Rick Mail, a man most famous for doing shit like this... is the guy who gives the most subtle and layered performance in your film.
Mistress, you forgot to insult the child actors.
Oh, I would, if they were good enough to be considered as acting. What did you think?
Merlin the Return is awful. It's badly made, it's cheap, it's inept, the script doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and most of the time I just watched it in a state of bewilderment. What's going on? Who are these people? It's a movie that manages to confuse its audience because it doesn't explain anything, and even the parts where it is actually faithful to Arthurian lore are just confusing because it assumes that actual young audience are familiar with them when they're just going to be even more puzzled by them because they don't have any context for them. A bit like me, who doesn't understand Arthurian lore very much either, and spent the entire movie going, what? Huh? I don't know. The acting is atrocious, and it's clear that everyone involved considers this to be a massive paycheck. Quite how this managed to get a wide national release in the UK is frankly baffling. Weirdly, the next film the kid who played Merlin did was The Sorcerer's Apprentice, not to be confused with the Nick Cage movie, where he played a kid helping out Robert Darby, who was playing Merlin. He had a really specific career for a few years. Basically, this really feels like a slightly kidified version of Doctor Who, and if nothing else, it gives you an idea of how Rick Mill might have been as the Doctor.
Yeah, and he would have been better than 4 of them.
Anyway, here's a video I made earlier to demonstrate.
You got it wrong, mate. This is the Doctor.
Oh, he has many names, but in my reckoning he is Merlin. Do you not ride the ship of time? Does it not deceive the senses being larger within than without? Merlin.
Merlin?
Oh, he has many names.
Has many faces. And he has many companions.
Are you Merlin?
No. But I could be. In the future. That is my personal future. Which could be the past.
Thanks for making my point for me.
That's a fucking camera and you know it. I'm not gonna edit it till I get back home.
Are we done?
Pretty much. I'm Amanda Hagan. I live with her every day.
And I'm Matthew Buck. I'm Brian Flynn, and beating down bad movies everywhere.
Brian Flynn, and you beat off bad movies. Okay, test subject Stalky the Knot minion. Merlin the Return said that villains can easily be pushed back by water hose. So let's test this!
What? It's not working.
That's true.
Oh dear.
Hello. My name is Diamanda Grace Jones Hagan, and I would like to talk to you today about minion starvation. This minion has not eaten in days, and is currently grasping towards the camera because I've taped a sandwich to it.
Oh, no!
Can you help? No, not really, but what you can do is check our Patreon and help the economy of Afghanistan in doing many incredible and important things, such as buying a more expensive sandwich to tape to the camera. So please, join us in making this minion's life a little bit harder.